Welcome to the Bird's Eye View. I am Warduck, and as always, we are here with the lovely Mr. Crow.
Hey, everybody.
All right, sorry for my voice. I've been a little bit sick. So, another article came up, and you guys were pretty interested in this, and so am I. So, this article is Idaho murder. Veteran defense attorney lays out case for Bryan Kohberger's team. That could make holes in the affidavit. So there was a 19-page sworn affidavit made public before his initial court appearance, which is why a lot of people think that that's why he waived his extradition so he could get this.
So he could see it, yeah.
Yeah. So they found his DNA.
I was just gonna say, so Duck, just so that we're all on the same page too. With him, a speedy trial means that it happened in 14 days or something like that.
No.
And with him waiving that, it's now 6 months. Right?
Well, you're talking about two different things. He was in Pennsylvania when he was arrested. He waived the extradition so he could get to Idaho.
Oh,
right. And the speedy trial just it's not mean it's going to happen like right away. It just means it won't take 2 or 3 years.
Right. Okay.
So in this sworn statement, they said they found his DNA at the scene. They spotted his car and phone circling the victim's home and uncovered a blood-tinged van-type footprint in the suspected killer's path. So here's where he breaks down a lot of this stuff. We're not going to go over word for word this article, but there was 3 things that I really wanted to hit on, and one of them was they said that his phone circled the area. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the problem: is he lives 8 to 10 miles away.
Yeah, he lives fairly close to the area as well.
And cell towers
across the border
do not approximate down to the meter. They are ranges of 10 miles or so. So simply by where he lives, his cell phone could connect to the tower that they said it was connecting to around. They don't, the cell phone tower doesn't show him driving in a circle around their house. That's not what it does. Yeah. The cell tower says, hey, this is my range circle. This is where it was. And because I'll use the cactus here, maybe. Well, never mind. So because he was in that circle, it could connect it, which means he may have been driving around in Washington State, and it showed it connecting back to that tower.
The Idaho tower,
okay.
Yeah.
So that's one. That they can do that. 2 is he could have been visiting anybody. He could have been shopping. He could have been out for a late night drive that had nothing to do with any of this. They have to prove this is connected, and that doesn't. It's circumstantial.
There's too much of a gap between him
especially
and
because he lives so damn close. That's a problem. Okay, yes. The next one is the van's bloody shoe print, right? Mm-hmm. So they said there was a bloody van shoe print. Well, the problem with that is they actually show a picture of the girl answering the door.
Yeah, and right there you passed it.
Oh, did I pass it?
Yeah. One more.
Oh, yeah. And she's wearing Vans type shoes.
Yep.
Okay, the next part of this is there were people that showed up to here before the police did.
Yeah, they're friends, yeah.
And so who knows if this girl's wearing Vans, likely other people in her group wear Vans.
Yeah, the Vans type shoes are very popular around this age group too.
Right. So popular. That also can get rid of that. And then I know there was the third thing and I forgot it already.
We got the phone, the Vans.
Oh, and his car being seen. His car technically was never seen, was never photographed. The license plate was never specified. A car like his was seen. And how many white four-door or how many white sedan type cars that look like a Hyundai Elantra are there in the area? Probably more than one.
That we don't know, but look around your own area and you can kind of suspect that there's, yeah, once you start looking for white sedans, you see a whole bunch of them.
Right. So, what are your thoughts on this article?
I thought it was very interesting. I liked some of the ideas that he pointed out. You know, if they can by chance just instead of using the cell phone towers, if they could start looking for connection to Wi-Fi, that was actually pretty interesting to see.
Right. They
But
talk about
they have, yeah, they have a lot of work. And granted, we don't know everything that the police have, right? They haven't released everything, but there's a lot of stuff that they still have to do, a lot of investigation to really trigger, or not trigger, but point him and to put him in this area and vicinity. Because one thing that I thought was very interesting is they don't have a connection to any of these students to him that I've read anywhere. You know, he you're just they don't have a tie. He wasn't friends. He wasn't working with them. He didn't have a lot of contact with these individuals specifically that I've read anywhere. So there's a lot of work that the police have to do.
all right.
I think they're very
All right.
close.
Hold
But
on. So you mentioned the Wi-Fi router, and I
Mhm.
do remember earlier that they said his phone was specifically turned off and not connected to a cell phone tower from certain time to certain time. So that's likely not going to be something that they can use, but it is something the defense attorney can use. Now, now,
Right.
now, we're going to do something else here now. Is right now we're going to ask you to like and subscribe, please, and
Yes,
help these
please.
videos get synced. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put up a 10-minute clock, and then we're going to talk about this case. And then at the end of the 10 minutes, we're going to close up this video. So, you ready?
Ready.
All right, here we go. Clock is right there. 10 minutes.
Clock's going.
Okay, so go ahead with your thoughts about they have a lot more to prove in this case.
They just have a lot more to look into. I mean, they just have to place him at the vicinity, and right now, from what I've read and from what I've seen, I don't know if they can do that just yet. You mentioned that he does have some suspicious activity though, where his phone was off at like something like 2:30 in the morning, and they can specifically say that it was off, and then it all of a sudden turned back on around 4:50 or something like that, which is when which is like a couple minutes after the eyewitness saw, you know, a man in her house with a
But
mask
but
and bushy
again,
eyebrows.
you're talking circumstantial evidence. The only thing so
It's
far
just
they have is the skin DNA off of the knife sheath, which I still
yes,
think can be disproved, or not disproved, but added some doubt to it.
coincidental. Yeah, exactly.
But otherwise, everything else so far is just circumstantial. You were in the wrong
It,
place at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing, but you didn't have anything to do with actually killing these
yeah,
people. Is their kind of defense right now? Like I said, you're right though.
yeah.
We don't know everything,
No,
but what we do know
what we
is
do
not
know,
good.
yeah, what we do know, they've just got to try to pinpoint putting him there in that vicinity, and I think also trying to, you know, he's been stalking them, if you want to put it that way, right? He's been stalking them for a while, but
Well,
they haven't released anything saying
yeah.
that he's been stalking him or that he's been looking at him. But I just don't see anything in any of the other articles that I've read about him of placing him in the vicinity or even placing him near these four people, and that's going to be tough to prove. That's I don't know what else they may have up their sleeve. I don't know what else evidence. Just right now, everything that I'm reading, it, it's just that skin on the sheath. That's all that's
So
putting him there.
so I read another article that talked about serial killers and stuff, and they were pointing out that that serial killers don't ever or don't often kill more than one person their first time. And so their theory was that he had done this before. This wasn't his first time. That this
Oh,
was an
really?
escalation of him, because in their research that serial killers often kill one or sometimes maybe two because of circumstance, but rarely is it a multiple 3 or 4 person. And if you think about the way the murder happened, he killed 2, went somewhere else, killed 2 more, and then stopped. And that just
I
doesn't that
there
doesn't fit
there was
their theory of a serial killer, which I kind of agree with that.
yeah, I read in one of the articles, and I can't remember where they were saying, or like which article exactly, but they mentioned that they think that he could have possibly went in there for for all 6 people. But he got tired. He got physically exhausted because it's not easy. They say, it's not easy to take down a person and fight them to death. And they think that maybe he just got physically exhausted
Well,
and
but
had
but
to.
again, going somewhere to kill 6 people
Mhm.
isn't a first time thing. Is kind of what,
Correct.
right? That seems like, okay, you plan to go kill 6 people. That doesn't seem like a first time murder thing, right? That seems like I've done this before and I've gotten away with it. Let me go ahead and get this done. I'm
Up the
smarter than
ante. Yeah.
everybody else, kind of a thing, right? But I I just I find it hard to believe that one person did 4 murders in 2 different rooms,
Yeah.
because how did one person getting stabbed and the other person just watch and not scream or do anything or not notice, right? Like,
That, that's been my question in a lot. Not just the only thing that the other people, the survivors have heard is they thought that they heard whimpering. They thought that they heard somebody talking where a male voice saying, "It's all right, I'm here to help," type thing. It's so weird that those are the only things that they've heard. They haven't heard screaming, squealing, thumping, a fight, because there was one thing that the police did say, there was a struggle. They did struggle. They did have defensive wounds. Um, so
so
it's not that it was really super quiet.
so that's another thing. If you have defensive wounds, how does Brian not have any marks on him?
I don't know. That's the other thing too. Is he showed up at court with a few minor scratches.
Well,
Like
but
that.
that was
That was from the
apparently
officers. Yeah,
from from custody,
yeah,
not.
yeah. Exactly. But That's all. That's the only thing they brought up though, was he had a few minor scratches, which is not from. They're not defensive wounds, right? They weren't from this. It's which I don't know. I guess that could have been a couple days later, or well, a lot of days later.
Yeah.
But
So like I said, I don't like, this case is so weird to me because
it is.
one supposedly one person went into 2 different rooms and stabbed 2 people in each room, enough to
Yep.
kill them, and nobody heard a struggle, nobody tried to get away. I don't understand how nobody even fought back, kicked,
No.
scratched. I don't know, it's so weird to me about that part of it, and it just adds to this case about all the weirdness in this case.
Yeah, and that's another weirdness too, that you bring up. A weirdness is, I read in another article that the neighbor's camera was close enough that you can hear a thud and whimpering. But it's like, what else? Like, they said it was under 50 feet away, but yet you can hear this, and I'm like, what? Why didn't anyone else hear this in the house? Why hasn't this been mentioned? And I don't know what's going on. Maybe they were in shock. Maybe they were freaking out. Maybe they were just a little bit intoxicated more than normal and just kind of
And so the other
passing
part
out.
of this is,
Thing.
apparently these are sorority
Yeah,
chicks or something. So maybe they had been out partying and were pretty
they
tossed.
were. Yeah, Yeah, there's a lot of mention that they were.
And that might have been maybe why there wasn't as maybe the one was so passed out she didn't notice the other one getting stabbed to death. It seems
Those are
odd,
things we don't know.
but I guess it's possible. I mean, they didn't release any talk screens or anything like that from the victims, so I don't know. This is just an eerie case. I don't know how long this is going to take. I don't think this is anything that goes to court like this year. Because look how long it took for like the Kenosha kid to go to court, right? That was quite a while.
The only thing I've heard about a case or a court anything is roughly estimated in June. And I don't think that's the start of the case. I just think that's it's
I don't know.
Going to be a very long time.
June seems to be awfully quick for this kind of thing, but
correct.
I don't know. Maybe they're like, hey, we're ready to do it. Let's just get it over with. You know, I'm gonna prove an innocent, so let's go. So
I don't know.
Well, that's the other thing is I think there's no way that this doesn't get a change of venue request. No way in hell that this doesn't get a change of venue request. It's just too small. How do you? It's 20. I think it's 23,000 people.
Yeah, I think you're about right. Yeah, I think when I looked it up, it was around.
And I guarantee you, every single 23,000 person in there knows everything about this case so far. There's no way you can get on the jury and say, have you read in the news or watched TV about this case? No.
Never heard this.
I've never heard about any of this. Yeah, right. There's no way.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. Like I said, the cops they have a lot of work ahead of them to try to put him in the vicinity.
Final words, last 15 seconds.
Just I hope the cops can put this together. This is a jigsaw puzzle that they can.
They need to get this guy because, like I said, I don't think this is his first time.
That's scary to think of. Yeah.
All right, our time is up. We are out of here. So much love, all. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you. Bye.